Hey everyone, what's up? Chad Wesley Smith here. Another installment of our Week in Review series as we push towards USAPL Raw Nationals. Giving you an overview of the training of Marisa Inda, Kristen Dunsmore, Maddy Forberg, and Ann Aita, 4 athletes that I'm preparing for a competition there. Very excited about their progress thus far. All of the ladies are in the last week of a strength cycle right now. All going to be coming up on a deload week this following week, so we're really looking to create some functional overreaching, so a little bit more weight, a little bit more volume than they would normally be able to recover from in the course of normal training. But because we have a planned deload coming up, we know we can push a little bit harder and not risk accumulating too much fatigue that they can't come back and do the necessary training next week. If you want to learn more about that concept, check out the Principle of Overload and Principle of Fatigue Management videos in our Scientific Principles of Strength Training series. If you're interested in online coaching with myself, Marisa, Kristen, Andy Huang, Max Ada, the rest of the great coaches we have at Juggernaut, visit juggernautcoaching.com. And here's the training for the week. All right, so as we get into the training for the week, you can see Marisa continuing with her tempo squats here on Mondays, her lighter squat day of the week, and we've actually decided to forego the technique adjustments we're trying to make with a little bit wider stance. It's the second time we've tried to make this adjustment, and probably at this point the last time we will do it as well, because she just doesn't feel as comfortable, as confident. When you have a really high level lifter, it's hard to make technical adjustments. Here is Maddy Forberg squatting a PR, 127.5 kilos for 281 pounds. So yeah, this was I think a 5 kilo PR for 5 reps. So really excited about her progress. Does a good job staying, weight a little bit forward in her foot so she can use her quads effectively. Really good squatting build, especially to squat, in a more quad heavy kind of style. But again, the hamstrings, they don't really do a lot for you in the squat. Here's Kristen Dunsmore's lighter squat day of the week. This is 145 kilos, 319 pounds. Still being a little bit tentative, working around those glute issues. Yeah, she was visiting Meg Squats that day. Here is Ann Aita going through some dead squats. So dead squats, good exercise to address strength out of the hole, particularly if you are pretty balanced between your back and leg strength. That they can be a useful exercise for that. It may be hard to tell in this video, but all of these are done as singles. So she's fully resetting in between every time and taking a 30 seconds rest between these singles. So what we did over the course of the last 4 weeks for Joanne was just increase volume week by week at the same intensity, 105 kilos. I think we went 6, 8, 10, and 12 singles at 30 seconds rest in the dead squat, an exercise that was first introduced to me by Josh Bryant. It can be really useful. Sometimes it's challenging though for people to get in a good position, so I personally would do them with safety squat bar. I was having Brandon Allen perform those the last few weeks as well. Here's Marisa doing some split squats. These are a good exercise for quad strength, for hip health and balance. Not like the ability to balance on a balance beam, but correcting asymmetries between hip shift, unilateral hip shift that you might have. Another one of our pretty much go-to assistance exercises, back raises, being performed by Joanne here. Bar on the back is a great way to do it if you can hold the bar in that position. I can't very effectively, but whether you're holding weight behind your head, on your chest, whatever, simple exercise, easy to load, very difficult to screw up a back raise, and it's always one of our go-tos for improving the squat and the deadlift. Moving on to Tuesday's bench press session. Here is a lifetime PR for Marisa, 98 kilos, just a half kilo PR. Very solid lift for her. Excited to see her add to her own American record of 97.5 kilos at Nationals. A 1 kilo PR here for Maddy, 91 kilos, pretty easy work. Her previous PR, or PR previous to working with me, which she started about 7 weeks ago, was 82.5 kilos, which you can see her doing for a set of 5 here. Huge progress in the bench press. Frequency has really been a benefit to her. A lighter bench day for Joanne, just getting work in, 65 kilos. Really focusing on keeping great tension with the bar on her chest. Again, we haven't been doing a ton of bench pressing with her feet down, and that's just to make sure her hip stays healthy, because the bench press stress on the hip, along with squatting, along with sumo deadlifting, and Joanne is 48 years old. We got to be a little bit more mindful of that kind of stuff. Moving on to Wednesday, Joanne's going to lead things off here with a PR. The next set will be a PR, but this 157.5 kilos for a triple in the deadlift. Very, very solid. Excellent reps here. She texted me during the workout, sent me this video, and asked if she could go up. This was our planned top set for the day. Just very efficient deadlifting technique. Here on the set that we made a jump up to 165 kilos, which would have been a PR triple, but I believe was still a PR double as well. I think she rushes this first rep off the floor a little bit. Not quite the patience we're looking for, and you can see her hips start a little bit too high and shift up and back a bit early. If you refer to our Sumo Pillars video series and the patience in the start video, you can see what we're talking about. I think that just kind of took a little bit of gas out of her for what would have been the PR triple there. But if we clean up that first rep, I think she makes the third rep as well. But excited about her progress in the deadlift. Now here is a 1 rep and 2 rep PRs for Maddy at 140 kilos, 308 pounds. And you can see she's really fast off the floor because she has strong legs and a good squatting build, but not a great deadlifting build. So what's happening, 2 things are happening kind of as she gets to the top there, is she's, one, needs to put some baby powder on her quads. She's got big legs, bars getting hung up on those. And we need to improve her start position a little bit, flatten out her low back, tell her to reach down to the bar like she's grabbing, or like she's doing an RDL. And that can help flatten out her low back, and it's the start position which is actually negatively impacting her lockout. And then you can see some block pulls from Marisa and Kristen, just getting work in. Nothing too exciting there. Marisa really hates conventional block pulls, as they're much more challenging for a lot of people, including her and myself, than sumo block pulling is. And we have Kristen pulling sumo there because give the hips a break, feel some heavy weight, but not let it be quite as taxing as it would be pulling from the floor. Here's the tertiary bench day for Kristen, Joanne, and Maddy. Feet up variations, again, to save the hips, save the back a little bit from the intensive bench setups that these ladies are capable of getting in. Also making the chest and arms and shoulders work harder, taking away the leverage of that setup. Coming up next is going to be Friday's squat training. This is a heavier session here for Kristen, and though the weight very solid, 370 pounds, 168 kilos for a triple, which is a PR. The depth definitely leaves something to be desired on the second and third reps. First rep I think was good, but the weight moved well. There's a big mental component to squatting heavy weights too, because you feel the weight on top of you crushing you. These next couple of weeks of the peak, we'll be working to address that depth and confidence for Kristen. Here's Maddy doing some pause squats. I think this was a good improvement over last week. A little bit longer pauses, solid positions. If you're struggling with technique at all, feeling the right weight distribution in your feet in the hole, Pause squat's a simple way to fix that because it gives you more time there to feel what the position should feel like and make small kind of micro adjustments. Here doing our high bar squats, our hips are kicking back out of the hole a bit more than I'd like to see, so we want to see more pressure on the front of our foot and probably lead with the knee a little bit more at the start of the lift. Now Joanne's working hard to correct some hip shift. If you watched our video last week, so she also referred to our fixing hip shift in the squat video with Dr. Quinn to see a lot of the exercises that Joanne would be performing. But one of the main ones is in our warm-up squats, like either doing a bodyweight squat or a goblet squat, having a band around her waist pull her in the direction of the shift, so her body and it tries to overcorrect back in the opposite direction. And it's kind of an odd feeling, but it is a pretty useful tool. And then here is Joanne later in the day, but doing some technique deadlifting on Friday as well. All four of these women will deadlift twice a week, one primary session and then a secondary session after their secondary squat session. And depending on the phase, depending on how good their technique is, that'll dictate the exercise selection a little bit. Typically less specific, farther away from meets, like RDLs in a hypertrophy block, often block pulls in the strength block to get the work. But not quite as taxing because the position isn't as tough. And then as we get into peaking, they'll be doing deadlifts, competition deadlifts multiple times a week, just at varying intensities. And here's their secondary bench day of the week. Just getting work in. Females particularly need frequency and volume in the bench press. So here they are taking care of that. And another good week of training. So we're excited as we advance towards nationals. All right, so that was the week in review. Our last week of our strength block, heading into a deload, and then we're on our way to the peak, heading towards USAPL Raw Nationals, just a couple weeks away in Spokane, Washington. Excited about the PRs that were hit this past week. Looking forward to a lot of hard work coming up, and the challenging, physical, mental, sometimes emotional parts of peaking for a powerlifting meet. So if you're interested in online coaching, visit juggernautcoaching.com. Please subscribe to the channel. Share this video with a friend who wants to learn more about how to train better. Thanks for watching.